Dr. Wiley says we will not take over the world unless we are listening to Geekcast Radio Network.
Maybe you should play something else.
Hello and welcome to GCRN Wars, episode 20. This is the finale battle of the video game icon tournament.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun. Joining me in this adventure into the second to the last episode of this magical tournament at this point is Kevin Optimus Solo.
It's a Wars episode, of course I'm here.
Yes. Nate.
Oh, hello.
Adolfo Shabadoo.
Yeah, it's a Wars episode. I'm kind of here sometimes.
He's here in spirit all the time. This time he's actually going to say things.
Matt.
Ridley
Hey, everybody.
And we have TV's Mr. Neil.
Howdy do.
So we got the same panel, but Matt is taking the place of Mike.
My beard's bigger.
Is it?
Oh, I think. I mean, if his drawing is accurate to life, definitely.
Yeah, Matt has the bigger beard, so that's why he wins and has got the spot. Blanchard has actually been suspended for an episode for calling me by the wrong name one too many times. And
so that's the reason you made him sick.
Is it too much of a sore spot to ask what the crap that's about?
No, it's his
avatar.
It's the art that Nate drew for me, which is obviously a combination of MacGyver and Han Solo.
Okay.
And Mike just thinks it's funny to call me Solo Mac.
I don't know why you didn't just embrace it. Like,
yeah,
I
like Solo Mac, actually.
It sounds too much like mac and cheese.
Okay.
Sounds
like Easy Mac, Solo Mac. I gotta get something better.
It's catchy.
So, what'd you do? Give him smallpox blankets or something?
Yes, I sent him a Christmas present in the mail. He just doesn't know when or how he got it. It just kind of, he opened an envelope and things happen.
You Tom Brokaw him.
But he should be better in 3 to 5 business days. So,
uh-oh, there's a holiday, so it's going to be like midweek.
Yeah,
he's going to strangle you through the microphone the next time he talks to you now.
That's all right. He's done this to me so many times, it's kind of fun. All right, for once it's me that showed up and him that's not here, and it's never like that. So, we're here for a video game Icon Wars tournament. Matt, you have not been with us up to this point, but I know you have listened thus far, either to 90% or 100% of the stuff that we've done so far in the tournament. I don't know if you caught the last episode or not. But when we recorded last week, we had set up our Final Four pairing, and I want to get your thoughts before we actually reveal the results officially for that matchup. But we had Link and Mega Man fighting on one side of the bracket, and we had Ratchet and Clank and Sonic fighting on the other side of the bracket. If you had been here last week, what would have been your thoughts about those two? We really missed out, everybody, by not having Matt in more episodes, because he is the dreamer of dreams, the writer of scenarios, the storyteller, and he would have came up with way better scenarios than I did. So if you had seen and been here for Mega Man and Link, how would it have worked out there, Matt?
Well, I have listened to every episode. And in fact, even though I started recording with GCRN, 9 months ago, I actually made my very first comment on the first episode of this tournament.
Nice.
But, it's funny because none of the scenarios that I had in my head when I first saw the brackets ever came up. Like, I think I was the only person to be rooting for Luigi. But
I'm a Luigi fan. I think I voted for him.
Because in my head it was like, he's got all the things Mario's got, only I think he's less naive. I think he could have gotten Mario in the back. But Link versus Mega Man. So I've been playing a lot of Zelda recently. In the last 3 weeks, probably 55 hours of Zelda games.
That's awesome.
Maybe a little bit more. It's probably my favorite video game franchise.
Probably mine too.
don't know if he could take Mega Man. Like I think of like how it would be if it were. See, that was one thing. When it was Yoshi versus Link. As soon as someone brought it up, I immediately went, well, Yoshi's kind of like these 2 or 3 different Zelda bosses, and it's like, well, if they put Yoshi into Zelda, this is how it would be. If they put Link into Mario, this is kind of how it would be. And from there on, I was trying to think of putting the characters into each other's games. I don't know if that really came up much, which kind of is sad that I wasn't here. Because I'm just sad I wasn't here the whole time. But, you think, like, you Z-target him, and Mega Man's never going to hit him with the Buster if he's running side to side, right? Because, like, the shield's always going to be in front. Mm-hmm. But with the other powers, the shooting the barrels from Donkey Kong, having Beautiful Joe's myriad of shit, excuse me, like, I don't see Link having anything to get to Mega Man, Yeah. Like, if he's always defending, he's not getting close, and if he's not closing, he's not doing anything.
That's true. A likely way to see that one play out. We'll have to see how it actually does play out. And on the other side of the bracket, we had what Mike claims is the most unfair entrant into the tournament, Ratchet Clank, who was going up against Sonic on the other side in the semifinals. How would that one play out, Matt? Are you a Sonic fan or a Ratchet Clank fan in that matchup?
Actually, I alluded to this before we started recording, I know nothing about Ratchet & Clank. Like, I knew that they were a pairing, I knew that they were a PlayStation franchise, but that was it. I watched, I don't know, at least 15, 20 minutes of videos just on those two, just so that I knew something. And I did not know that since, like, 2002 to 2014, they had something like 16 games. Like, if you'd asked me, I'd have been like, I don't know, like 5?
Right.
But they've had at least one every year, I think, except for like 2005. But then they had 2 in 6 and like 2 in 08. It's ridiculous.
I think I own 8 of them.
Wow.
Like, because I own 4 for the PlayStation 2, and then I own 1 for the PSP, and then I own 2. Yeah. I own 2 for the PS3.
Like, I had to do research on them just to feel them out. And of all of the pairings, I feel like they're the least, like, 2 people. Like, it's like Clank's a backpack, if he's even there at all. And I don't know for sure, but I feel like he's probably more like your UI or, like, an Oracle character than, like back-to-back punching or anything. I didn't see any of that.
He had his own game.
Where he was a secret agent.
Right.
Which seems like, if you, like, when I was watching, I was like, this seems so entirely out of character. Like,
no.
Oh, yeah? It was, well, maybe because, like, in the earlier games, he was so stiff and uptight and robotic. So the idea of him being, like, a secret agent was just, like, didn't make sense to me. Also, what was with the guy not wearing a t-shirt, like, or a shirt? He was just, like, bare-chested for, like, half of the games.
Oh, which, the, like, Zap Brannigan ripoff guy?
No, Ratchet.
Oh.
Like, in half of the games, he's just bare-chested.
He was going through a phase.
It was just really weird to me. I don't know.
He was doing 80s icons.
I didn't think that was a bad thing. No.
No, I mean, he looked like
well, if you're bare-chested, it's definitely not a bad thing, Nate.
It's just an interesting look. I don't know. So, like, they've got a very impressive arsenal, and they're very interesting characters. But I don't think they're really benefiting from being 2 people. Right. That said, their enemies and their games, the AI doesn't look too hot. It's like, it looked like you can strafe and your enemy's never gonna hit you, and they're sitting still, and so you're just gonna shoot, and you'll eventually kill anything. I don't think they're gonna have the targeting to kill a Sonic. He's just too fast.
Yeah, I think.
Did you say a Sonic?
Yeah, a Sonic. I don't know if you've been to the DeviantArts. There are lots of Sonics out there. And everyone has their own.
I mean, I would just like to say, Sonics have peach
It's not
arms,
Pokemon.
And some have blue.
I would just like to say I know Matt is coming in late to the game, but I'm already going to go ahead and the post-tournament award ceremony, we're going to give him the research and homework award because I think he's already done more prep work than all of us did combined. I'm just kidding. But
I've been playing games for 20 years.
That's true. Built-in research along the way. All right, so let's get to the actual results from last week's episode so that we can debate more on the actual finale. The one from the right side of the bracket and the one from the left side of the bracket will finally have to face off against each other. So we'll have to see how that goes. Steve, reveal for us the results between Link and Mega Man.
Mega High. This one, Mega Man wins 15-6.
Wow.
Link goes down.
And Mega Man gains all of his abilities.
So Mega Man gains some more to his arsenal. And man, the dominoes have fallen on that side of the bracket. We saw Mario go out, Yoshi go out, and now Link go out from that top section of the bracket. And Mega Man remains standing. That means Mega Man will be fighting who, Steve? Who wins between Ratchet and Clank and Sonic? Does TFG1 Mike get his wish of Mega Man and Sonic facing off?
Considering I already told Mike this earlier when I talked to him, and he cried like a bitch, Ratchet and Clank kicked Sonic's ass.
Whoa!
What?
I did not see that coming either. 14-8.
Wow.
So Mike is going to be beside himself, calling foul and unfairness, etc. So we'll have to see how this plays out. So that means we have a matchup now with Mega Man versus Ratchet and Clank. Before we go around the table and get everybody's thoughts on that, let's quickly review how they got here. Mega Man started off by beating Beautiful Joe. Remember, gaining powers by each person he beat. So he beat Beautiful Joe, then he took out Donkey Kong, then he took out Bomberman, and then he took out Link. So that is Mega Man's path. Beautiful Joe, Donkey Kong, Bomberman, and Link. If we look at Ratchet and Clank, they took out Toe Jam and Earl, took out Jak and Daxter, took out Spyro, and took out Sonic. So let's start with Nate. What are your feelings and how do you see the strengths and weaknesses? You don't have to say who you think is going to win, but what does each person have going for them and going against them as this particular matchup when we see Mega Man versus Ratchet and Clank?
I don't know. This is going to be a pretty intense match. Mega Man is robotic and he will be able to move around and do stuff. I don't know. I have no idea, dude. I'd say that Ratchet and Clank probably. I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Well, he thinks a little bit. Neil, what do you think? Are you, before we get into, if we're surprised and this, that, and the other, if we're just looking at this matchup, Mega Man and Ratchet and Clank, who's got what going for him, Neil?
Well, Mega Man has, he's got barrels and boomerangs and swords and shields, and I wasn't prepared for this. I was totally expecting Sonic to blow away Ratchet and Clank, so oh boy, Ratchet and Clank. Yeah, even with as little as I know about that series, I still got to give it to Mega Man just for being so overpowered at this point. Because he just gained like 5 times the number of abilities that he had before, just by beating Link. Because Link had so many things in his arsenal to begin with. So
now, are we saying that that Mega Man is going to be able to do all of Link's like his boomerang and his like everything?
He'll have every ability of everybody he's defeated at this point.
Oh,
So
wow.
for Link,
wait, but
we're not counting we're not going to count like special weapons that Link gets along the quest, but his basic arsenal.
Things that come with him.
So is he just like Sword and Shield? Mega Man,
Sword
then?
and Shield, like you can probably include stuff like just like the basic boomerang, and he had bombs and stuff like that. But he already had that from Bomberman.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I'm with Neil. I was not expecting this. I thought we would get either Link against Ratchet and Clank or Mega Man against Sonic. I'm surprised that we're getting a crisscross of that. But Mega Man you might be able to make the argument that since he has gained the powers of all of his prior opponents, that maybe he has the best chance, or maybe he's been able to build up the biggest arsenal so that he has a legitimate shot at a Ratchet and Clank who has a lot of firepower as well. And we're going to have a good old-fashioned shootout. Matt, you've had a couple seconds to come up with a scenario here. How do you see this one going down?
So, if you ever look at the videos of people trashing in a Mega Man game, just beating the game really quick, it's always about not dealing with any enemy that you don't have to. They play it like it's a Mario game, and you've only got 10 seconds to get to the end of that level. And you don't shoot unless you're shooting at the boss or something that's directly in your path. And I think that bringing that to the table, he's going to be bouncing around. He's going to be everywhere. Like, with the Ratchet and Clank, it's all about just big guns, shooting a bunch, throwing things. And I just think Mega Man's just not going to be there, right? He's got this jumping, he's got this fast. I mean, Ratchet and Clank have a huge arsenal, maybe even arguably more than Mega Man, even at this point.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But like, so that they've got that going for them, and they've got like 3D. Like in my mind, Mega Man is 2D almost.
There was that one time.
Mega Man Adventures.
No,
is that what it's called? I just assume if it was a game that went from 2D to 3D, it was Adventures.
No, it was, Mega Man Legends,
Pac-Man,
but it was actually not the actual Mega Man. It was a different Mega Man from a different universe, apparently.
But also, Mega Man has one fatal handicap, and that is that he cannot shoot up.
That's true.
What? But okay,
That's a really good point. Can Ratchet and Clank fly?
That's why we should have had Mega Man X.
Ratchet and Clank has been able to fly.
They have that propeller thing.
Clank, he's the propeller thing, but he also gets upgrades, so it actually turns into a jetpack.
Cool.
So it could be an interesting feature of this battle. I think, Matt, you bring up a good point, though. If anybody in this tournament has a specialty of dodging or evading getting hit, Mega Man's one of the top ones in this tournament at doing this. I mean, you could probably say Frogger or something like that. Maybe that's their only game, is trying not to get hit. But Mega Man specifically, you're right. He's going through the level and he's just trying to avoid getting hit. He's trying to avoid bullets. He's trying to avoid things that are coming at him. So he definitely has experience with that. But the flying issue could come into play. Steve, what are your thoughts?
Well, considering I saw this being a fight between Mario and Kirby on this side of the bracket originally, and it not turning out that way, and then seeing the other side being Sonic against Ratchet and Clank, with Sonic making it to the finals. This whole thing right here, I do agree Mega Man has the speed factor going for him. Not to mention, at this point, he also has the ability to heal, just from because he has his little robot guy that will bring him crap to heal, and then he's got the ability to kind of he's got the speed, but he can also kind of teleport if he needs to and get upgrades later on, just like Ratchet and Clank could get upgrades at this point. There's also the fact that Mega Man has all of the abilities he's gained at this point. The barrels, the big fisted Donkey Kong. I mean, he could pretty much grab Clank and just crush him and take out Ratchet. So I mean, it's. I think if it's an endurance fight, Mega Man's going to take it because he's a robot and Ratchet's not.
We've talked about as far as Ratchet and Clank possibly being able to fly and Mega Man not being able to shoot up, and we've talked about Mega Man bringing the weapons from the opponents, but we haven't really looked at them specifically. Is Donkey Kong's barrel throwing enough to negate the flying aspect? Or can he use any of Beautiful Joe or Bomberman or Link's other weapons to try to combat that? Because maybe he can't shoot his pea shooter, his blaster up or whatever. But Donkey Kong threw a lot of barrels up at opponents that were in the sky. You know what?
In Beautiful Joe, whenever there was like a hovering or flying enemy, if you used the time slowing mechanism. Mm-hmm. It actually would make them fall to the ground.
So if Ratchet and Clank came flying towards Mega Man, not knowing who Mega Man's fought through the tournament at this point, Mega Man could possibly use Beautiful Joe's time thing, make him collapse right in front of him, and just hit him with a bomb or a Donkey Kong punch or a sword from Link or even his own gun.
Yeah.
So maybe we could have something that could negate the flying aspect. I know we're saying that he can evade things a lot and he jumps around, and Mega Man's used to avoiding getting hit by bullets, etc. But is he necessary? I've only played like some of the original like Mega Man 1 probably through 6 or something. I never played after that. But I don't necessarily correlate Mega Man with being fast. Is he fast in the later games, or is he just a decent jumper, hopper, moving around? Because I never viewed him fast like you would view Sonic as fast.
Well, we're not doing Mega Man X. We're not doing X, or we're not.
No. So Mega Man X is infinitely better than Mega Man.
Yeah, Mega Man has been going the same speed. Like, he can get into his car, or his, like, robot dog car and go faster. But
Rush.
So he doesn't necessarily have speed going for him.
No, I don't think
He's
so.
got agility, you know?
He's got agility and maneuverability, but not speed.
He wouldn't beat Sonic in a race, but, I mean, if you watch someone playing the first level of, like, Mega Man and someone playing the first level of, like, a Sonic game, like, he's not going to hit, like, Sonic's going to plow through every enemy, and, he's faster, but he's going to take more hits. He's going to hit the spikes every once in a while, where Mega Man, like, is not.
Right.
He controls so perfectly that has to correlate to actually being able to dodge things. Like, he controls so much better than Sonic.
Yeah.
And every point that somebody brings up or that we bring up makes me go back and forth between the two people. It's like, oh, this guy's got flying ability. But wait, he's got Donkey Kong barrels and Beautiful Joe's time thing. But wait a second. Ratchet Clank's got a huge arsenal, and Mega Man's not necessarily fast to avoid it, but he's good at maneuvering. I don't know where we're going with this one. Matt, help me out. How do you see this ultimately playing out? Who wins this matchup?
Well, if they're standing on the ground, not using flight, not using agility, I don't think Mega Man would win in a straight shootout. But on a level playing field, few platforms, and with the powers they've got, I don't see Mega Man losing.
That was well said.
I would vote Mega Man.
All right. Steve, how would you ultimately vote in this one?
I'm going to go Mega Man.
Just for the record, Mike would vote Mega Man. He hates
because he hates Ratchet and Clank for destroying Spyro, even though Spyro wasn't worthy of this point.
Could I ask a question about Spyro? Because I haven't played. I've played one game. Like, he doesn't dragon fire like Smog or anything, right? He shoots out a little flame, a little boof.
He's got a pea shooter flame.
Yeah. Okay, because like Mike was talking about it, like, no, he's got dragon fire, and I'm like, he's like
Mike
a baby
might have never
dragon.
played the game. We're not even sure at this point.
He is a baby dragon.
I'm just
You
kidding,
watched the
Mike.
trailer.
Neil, who do you think ultimately wins this one?
I got to give it to Mega Man just for the arsenal.
Unanimous so far. Nate, are you going with the same?
First off, Matt.
Yeah.
Did you not play a lot of PlayStation?
I got my PS1 really late in the game.
Yeah.
And I don't think I played a lot of exclusives.
Man.
That said,
Okay.
I mean, I got a PS1, 2, and 3, but I've also had every single Nintendo console when they were still relevant, with the exception of the GameCube. But from the NES to the Wii U, I've had them all.
Well, if
except
you
for the
want to
GameCube.
borrow some PS1 or PlayStation games, let me know. Anyway, I'm going Mega Man. You can't. Mega Man's too cool. He would like put on sunglasses and be like, "I'm better than you." Pow pow.
So unanimous so far from Mega Man. Before I cast my final vote, just one question for you guys as far as their path goes. Did either one of them have a harder... Does either one of them come into this finale more worse for the wear going through the battles that they did, or is it somewhat even? Remember that Mega Man took out Beautiful Joe, Donkey Kong, Bomberman, and Link, whereas Ratchet and Clank, Toe Jam and Earl, Jak and Daxter, Spyro, and Sonic. Are they both pretty beat up at this point, or is either one of them coming in with an easier path to the finale, or is it an even playing field? I think Ratchet and Clank's probably toughest matchup was Jak and Daxter, followed by Sonic, maybe. He might have had the easier time with Toe Jam and Earl and Spyro. Mega Man, I think he's had a tough battle almost every time. Beautiful Joe, Donkey Kong, Bomberman, and Link. I don't know if one of them at this point, if this was like a one-day tournament, would be coming in, with an oxygen tank at this point, or what here?
Mega Man would have had an E-tank. He'd be all right.
That's true. That's true. Maybe Clank might not even be here anymore. It might just be Ratchet against Mega Man at this point.
Well, if that's the case, we can rebuild Clank, right?
Or
That's
could
true.
we?
No.
I mean, I'm with Go ahead, Matt.
I was gonna say, like, if Link had a fairy in a bottle, like, would that help Mega Man, or since he's a robot, would that not help him?
That's a
Probably
good
wouldn't
question.
help him.
I think I'm going to go with you guys, though. I think, like Matt said, if it's a straight shootout and Mega Man somehow finds himself in that position, he is in trouble. But if it's an open, world type of thing and he can jump around and move around, he's got the maneuverability and the arsenal to actually match up with Ratchet and Clank at this point.
Right.
So I think I'm going to go Mega Man as well to make it unanimous, which is weird in the finale. That being said, now that we've seen how the whole tournament played out and we know it's Mega Man and Ratchet and Clank in the finale, regardless of how that turns out, what's the biggest surprise of this tournament so far? And I want to point out a few things and a few main characters that have dropped to the wayside. We've seen Mario and Yoshi go down. Link, obviously, just recently. Kirby, maybe make an argument for Donkey Kong. On the other side of the bracket, we saw Sonic go out. We saw Ratchet and Clank, kind of run the table on that side with Jack and Daxter and like Sly Cooper, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro. Is there any? What's the biggest upset? Who are you most surprised is not in the finale, Steve?
I'm surprised that either like Mario, Kirby, or Sonic, like it's kind of a surprise that all like in any of those three. I know that not all three would be in the finale, but I'm kind of surprised that at least one of them aren't in the finale. Just because they not only their popularity, but their kind of memorability and their skill for the most part. I'm not saying who got here now is any worse choice because it's not, but I'm just surprised that they aren't there.
Neil, what do you think is the biggest upset? Dig Dug being taken
You
out?
stole my joke.
I'm sorry.
Just the fact that we lost all the Nintendo characters because Mega Man is not a Nintendo character.
Oh no!
It's yeah, shots fired. Yeah, we lost all Nintendo characters. We lost Sonic. It's like the two that I was not expecting to be in the end. Well, less so Mega Man. I just wasn't expecting these two to be in the finals. I was totally expecting Sonic and Link, and I was going to say Sonic just runs into his sword because that was my joke the whole way. Is that the only thing that kills Sonic is a wall of spikes while you have someone with a sword. Yeah, I wasn't expecting Ratchet and Clank to make it this far, just because maybe it's just my bias because that's not really my kind of game. So I was like the least familiar with that, and even when I looked at the game, I was like, this looks like 50 other games I've seen, and so I really didn't know much about them. So
Yeah,
I'll tell you one thing: if Ike from Fire Emblem was here, it'd be all over because he's way overpowered. But yeah, those are my thoughts.
I made up. I know Steve did the same thing, but I kind of made my predictions as to how I thought the tournament would go. I made two sets of predictions: one how I thought it should go, and one how I thought it would go. And in the way I thought it should go, I did have Link and Mega Man and Ratchet and Clank and Sonic all in the final four, but I had Ratchet and Clank fighting Link in the finale. And how it would go, I actually had Ratchet and Clank and Sonic, and then Mario and Mega Man. And I had Mario over Sonic in the finale, so I was completely wrong. I thought, and what I'm impressed at is normally when we do these types of things, it's just all about popularity contests and whoever's the most favorite character gets voted, and that's why I kind of thought it might be, Mario and Sonic. But I'm kind of happy that people somewhat looked at it maybe from a more, fighting standpoint and an actual battle standpoint kind of scenario view. And I'm glad to see Ratchet and Clank and Mega Man. I am surprised, though, on Mega Man and Mario and Sonic not making it further than they did, especially Mario since he went out so early. But Nate, biggest surprise of the tournament?
That Shovel Knight wasn't on there.
I apologize. Who
What's
Shovel
that?
Knight?
I didn't make it, so I can
No.
laugh.
It's all my fault.
No.
Did you just drop your microphone after that bomb?
No, he didn't. I hold on to my mic tightly. Okay, so like Donkey Kong should have been Donkey Kong, versus, Donkey Kong versus Ratchet and Clank is what I would have done, but whatever. Just because I love Donkey Kong. He spins around, he ground
Donkey
pounds.
Kong.
Everybody had their favorites. Neil had Dig Dug, Mike had Spyro, you had Donkey Kong, and all of them went to the wayside due to Mega Man and Ratchet and Clank. So I don't think either one of them was necessarily anybody's favorite, but I don't think you can make too much of an argument against either one of those guys making it into the finale. So now we're just going to have to see how the people vote and basically see now that we finally have one person from one side of the bracket and one person from the other side of the bracket, how's it going to play out? Is Ratchet and Clank going to take it and piss Mike off eternally? Or can Mega Man save the day and save us all from the wrath of TFG1 Mike? Steve, any final thoughts?
No, I'm just kind of curious to see what's going to happen next. I have a feeling I know, but again, it remains to be seen what gets voted.
In case people have been sleeping under a rock or been hibernating during the holidays and missed most of this tournament, you still have a chance to vote now. You can go to the website, www.geekcastradio.com. Look up at the top. There'll be a tournament banner. You can click on the finale. It'll take you to a page where you can cast your vote on either Mega Man or Ratchet and Clank. Do that. Spread the word. Tweet, Facebook, whatever you guys do. Send messages out there. Let's get the votes up so we can see ultimately who will win this battle. And if you want to paint your own scenario, go to that website and click on the episode post. You can actually draw up an own scenario and try to convince people how to vote right before they cast their own votes. So one last chance to be involved in this tournament and try to help decide what the outcome will be. Steve, what's the last day they have to vote?
The last day they have to vote will be January 6th.
All right, so you have until January 6th to get your votes in. We will be back one more time to announce the winner and probably unveil some other news of some sort about wars in general and what will be coming up in 2015 and the possibility to maybe impact a future tournament or help us decide things. We'll figure that out, but there will be some type of announcement as well as the unveiling of the winner of our second GCRN Wars tournament. Steve, did I forget anything?
Nope, I think that's it.
Neil, how can people reach out to you and contact you if they want to now that we're wrapping this thing up?
Well, I'm at you want my Twitter?
Sure.
Twitter, I'm at Neil Sama at Twitter. Facebook, I'm you know what I wasn't thinking.
It's like when you try to remember your own phone number. It's like I have no idea what it is.
You
can
just
tweet you.
You can just tweet me for that. My website is dasien.com, dasien.com. You can check out my stuff there. That's pretty much it. I keep a low profile on the internet for the most part.
All right. Matt, how can people tweet you?
I'm on Twitter at FridleyCent.
At FridleyCent.
That's all I have to promote anymore, sadly.
There will be more soon, hopefully. Nate, how do people get in touch with you or comment to you?
I'm at Twitter at Adolfo Shabadoo, and that's about it. NateCrocker.com.
Yeah, check out his stuff.
I haven't touched that site in a while.
That's what she said.
Steve, how can people tweet you?
Very gently. At SCP-21.
And of course, you can reach me at Optimus Solo. And I think that'll do it. We will see you guys in about a week to give you the winners. So go vote.
Thank you for listening to GCRN Wars. You can get a hold of us in the following ways. You can contact us on Facebook by searching Geekcast Radio Network. You can comment on this episode post with the poll. Please be sure to fill out the voting, and if you'd like to leave an explanation, leave it in the comments below. You can get a hold of us on Twitter at Geekcast Radio, hashtag GCRN Wars. That's GCRNWARZ. So until next time, tune in and check out GCRN Wars Tournament on episode 16, where we cover the other half of Round 1's fight. So until next time, unleash the geek in you.
Come on, everybody. score gets higher, they multiply. Dig dug. Dig dug. Dig dug. Dig dug. Now come on, everybody, take a chance. Going underground into the dig dug dance. Use your pump just like a bazooka. Use it to blow up. Pump a fighter and put out his flames. Eat all the veggies and win the game. These are the rocks. Watch them fall. Dig Dug's the greatest miner of them all. Dig Dug. Dig Dug. Dig Dug. Dig Dug. Dig Dug. I can dig it. Dig Dug. 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 Dig 'em, dig 'em, dig 'em, Doug, dig 'em.